Alright, y'all, we are live once again up here at our lake house in the Pocono Mountains. Make sure we got our windsock on here. There we go. We are live. We are out here on the kayak. I had to do a little bit of figuring out to see how we could get out here on the kayak, go live, have the phone rigged up on the kayak, and we're rocking and rolling. We are out here. It's a good time. Hey, there's Raptor Will. Alright. I can't see chats if I pull the windsock up too far, so there we go. This is going to be fun. Heck yeah, it is. Raptor Will, by the way, I think I said this to you at some point in time. I got to text you and Bob. I mean, some other people could have an open invite, but I know you, Bob, and I do some stuff as well. If you are in the area at any point in time this whole week, because we are up here, feel free to stop by and fish, because we are here during the day. We're going to be having fun. So if somehow you're in the area, if you're in PA, whatever, you're close by, you're more than welcome to stop by, fish a little bit, come out here, have some fun on the kayaks, whatever. So we are going to go out here. I think main plan, because it's kind of windy, is going to be trolling. We're going to go out there and troll. I have my phone tethered to the kayak. Yeah, should be fun. I got to get my fish finder rigged and ready here, which involves chucking some water into the well. So we got to do that. Might be slightly difficult with how much stuff I got going on here. Okay. Push that down in there, turn on the fish finder. I can show you all the fish finder rig momentarily. What we got going on. The hair's being weird with the wind. Let's see if it turns on, if we get signal. Okay, push that down. Hit that button. Alright, we got signal. Sweet. Fish finder signal's on. Passed through today with your dad, but he wanted to get home, and I work every day this week except Friday. Yeah, I got to text Bob and say if he wants to come up one day, he certainly can. I feel like he probably wouldn't be up for that far of a drive on such short notice, but you never know. I'll text him, tell him and Kev and Lyle and the fam are welcome to come up if they would like. So I'll turn y'all around. Over there's a dam wall out in front of us. We're gonna go kayak along the dam wall and troll. That's the main thing right now. RDM, how's it going? So we're gonna go troll over there with the BFS. I built a trolling rig specifically for this kayak. I'm gonna do short, not too long, showing you guys how I built it, how I decided to do that. Some trolling stuff. But yeah, we're gonna be using it today. But I actually showed how to build it in another video. Gold coin, thank you. Thought about asking my dad to stop for a few. He was tired and he was aching, so I decided to keep driving. Yeah, not a problem. Alright, yeah. Hopefully the audio is good. I've got a windsock on there, but it's not a typical one because of how I've got it rigged up here on the front of the kayak. Sent a star, thank you. How's your day going? It's going well. No fish yet this morning. Did some slingshot shooting, hanging out with the family. It rained a little bit this morning, but it is supposed to be dry and clear for the rest of the week up here at the Poconos, so we should be good. And now we're out here on the kayak, and I think we're going to get on some fish trolling. I have some other rigs with me. I brought my casting rod, which has one of these dark sleeper baits, Mega Bass Dark Sleeper. They're essentially like a jig, bass jig, and a swim bait at a baby. That's what it is. I got a mini rattle trap, what's it called? I'm losing my mind. Texas rig on the spinning rod. Light Texas rig. Raptor says he can be really fun. Perfect. So we are working our way towards the dam wall. Got lots of people setting up fireworks along the dam wall. We're going to do some fireworks tonight. You can see this, yes. And we're going to paddle along the dam wall and troll the mini rattle trap. I've been having a lot of success with that lately. So, Dad tried to fish too, but he didn't get anything. Well, we should get some stuff today. I bought a couple last night on the live, and we some interesting stuff. Probably some bass, perch in store today. What's the best fish I've ever what? Ever caught? Ever eaten? Ever looked at? Let me know. probably caught. And that's highly subjective. There's lots of different metrics for what makes one the best. Yeah. We are rocking and rolling. Signal was just cutting in and out, but it's fine right now. Alright. I imagine that might be the case, so we're just gonna let it cut in and out and just keep rolling, so. Magoo! 23. Yeah, we're rocking and rolling. Way up over yonder, not sure if you guys can see it, up past that boat, right there. They're setting up fireworks. We'll get up close and personal with it in a minute. This brings back some old memories. Before I had my GoPro and the chest mount and all that, I always just used the tripod. I'd set it on the ground while bank fishing, and I would kind of hook it up to the front of the kayak, just like we got right now, for the kayak fishing adventures. So this is some vintage stuff here. There's a boat coming, and they don't seem to care where I'm going. Get out of their way. All right. I forgot that lake there isn't small. Yeah, no, not small. I think it's 380 some acres, so it's not huge, but it's not small either. I'm going to cut inside of these guys. We're going to go all the way out along the dam, and then we are going to cut back, troll all the way back using the wind. Hey, Zyro, how's it going? We're out on the kayak. 31.4 feet in the current location. This is the deepest section of the lake. Most of it's 12-15 feet. We got a couple sections that get out to 20. And this section's in the 30s. So we're 29.2 right now. If we cut back out here, we'll be back into the 30s. So this is the big deep pocket. Vertical jigging with spoons here. It's always pretty good. I've caught some big crappie doing that. Here's a view of the fireworks. Let's see. So we're gonna get right up. Oh, we got some fish down at 25 feet. Suspended marks. I'll have to bring a spoon out here one of the days while we're here. But for now, I'm gonna go get a good spot along the dam wall, and I got the trolling rig set up. Let me show y'all here. Flip this around. All right, so here's what we got going on. Whoopsie daisy. So we got the PVC pipe kind of out at a 45, so we control the rod. Here's fish finder, 27.3 feet. Had a couple marks in there, but that's what we're looking like. And then you guys are mounted right there. Put you back. I've got it tethered, but I still would prefer not to drop it, so let's be careful. That should be a safety precaution, not something we have to use. All right. The wind died down too, that's nice. 12 people in here. 4 thumbs up. There's the fireworks crew getting set up on the dam wall. We're gonna, as you can see, the dam wall goes all the way down yonder. I'm still turning. All the way down there, that first house, that's where the dam wall is. So we're gonna kind of go about down that direction and start trolling there. We're gonna troll a good section of the dam wall. There's always smallmouth and stuff hiding in there, and they like to troll, the trolling bite. We're going into the wind now, so on the way back, we should be able to troll with the wind, which would be nice. 27.4 feet is the current depth. Take me up on my offer, come up here this Friday, and maybe bring my Hobie. Friday, so, well, I guess I should have been more specific when I said the whole week. We're only here until like 9 a.m. Friday, so that'd be a tough one, Will. That would be a tough one. Let's flip you back around. There we go. $27.9 feet right here. What type of bait are you using? We're going to be using primarily, I brought some other stuff, but I think the primary rod that's going to be in usage today, let's see if I can untangle it, because I obviously made a mistake by doing that, is this guy. Mini rattle trap on my BFS, Bait Finesse system. It's essentially a micro bait caster. We're going to be trolling it up along the dam wall. That's primarily what we're going to be using today. But we got to get to a good spot along the dam wall here first before we start trolling. Something big along the bottom. 29 feet. Jump in the water for $20. Yeah, not out here. I'm trying to keep everything dry and such. Don't lose it. Yeah, that's the goal. I've had that bait for 2 years, something like that now. It's caught me a lot of fish, especially in this lake. So. Getting to a decent spot up along the dam wall here. And then we're going to start trolling. 12 minutes into the live. Getting to a good spot, and then we're going to start trolling along. The fish up along the dam wall typically like a little bit faster troll. They seem to be aggressive most of the time. So, yeah. What type of fish are you looking for? Primarily smallmouth. Big yellow perch would be nice. I'd take a big crappie, largemouth bass, big sunfish, anything really, but what's most likely is some smallmouth bass. Very mixed size. I've caught some really small ones on this lure and really big ones on this lure. There's a red-winged blackbird. It's a good sighting. Been researching up on my birds lately, learning about that. So, lots of barn swallows that fly over the lake. Lots of barn swallows, grackles, of course lots of robins up here. I think that's the first time I've seen a red-winged blackbird here. I've seen them before, just not here. Yeah. Let me know how service is, what the picture quality, audio quality is looking like. All that. Ooh, lots of fish here. Nice. Alright, gotta keep that in mind. 16.5 feet here. We're coming up on the dam wall. Got loads of red-winged blackbirds over here in New Jersey. Yeah. We got a lot down by my house, but not a ton up here that I typically see. So, yeah, there's the dam wall. Once we get in, I don't know, maybe 60 feet it out, we'll toss out the trolling rig and start getting on the actual trolling. All right. So we're going to 14.4 feet. I kind of want to be trolling the bait through about 8 feet of water. That's what I like. So they've got a big rocks that kind of slope down from the dam wall, and they kind of start their more aggressive slope. They kind of go like this and then kind of go like that. That transition zone is usually about 8 to 10 feet. So I kind of want to be trolling through about 8 feet, and yeah. We'll see what we can do. We're in 12.1 feet right now, but that's a good spot to cast out. It's a good spot to cast out because I can let it sink and then start trolling, so I just don't immediately get stuck on the bottom. So I think we're gonna cast it out right here. Nearly perfect now. Yeah, it might be in and out, but especially since we're moving so much, not like in a stationary spot because we're trolling, but that's kind of what we got to work with. So cast that out behind me, and I'm going to put it right there. I'm we are going to start moving. We're trolling out along the right side, which means I want the fish finder reading to say something along the lines of maybe 10 feet, and then our bait will be pulling through 8 feet. If we were going the other direction, I'd need to be more in like 4 or 5 feet, and then our bait would be in 8 feet because it's hanging out over the side. Massive muskie on a topwater frog. There are no muskie in here, and I don't have a topwater frog with me, so that would be an unusual one for sure. But hey, I'd take it. I would certainly take it. All right. Oh no, that's not ideal at all. We got a knot in here. We have to fix that ASAP. That is not good. It's a tiny knot too. It's possible to get that one out, but that's no cakewalk to get that out. That's annoying. Oh no, look at that. I don't even know how that happened. I was casting this around earlier today and that was not there. So how that happened, I don't know. Oh my gosh. What might be helpful, frankly, is like another hook. Man, that's annoying. Yeah, another hook might be helpful. I can kind of get into the knot, maybe. Yeah, we can't be trolling with a knot in our line. That's a definite no-no. See if we can use the hook to kind of open it up. Sorry, y'all, this is probably very boring. I'm trying to undo a knot. The good thing is it's obviously I guess I call them a self-contained knot, meaning it's a loop in the line that got tangled on itself. It's not like I have to pull one end of the line through the other or through the loop to get it undone. If I open this up enough, I should just be able to kind of pull it through and it'll pop out straight again. Oh, we're getting somewhere, y'all. Oh no, I pulled it a little too much. We are working on it. Come on. I'm going to give it like another minute or two trying with this. If we don't get it, I'm going to cut it and retie, which will be unfortunate, but you know, it's an option. Oh, yes. Success. I'm a professional, y'all. Sorry, that was probably 5 minutes of your life that all of you didn't need, but I got it out, and that's what's important in life. Not that specifically. In that moment, the important thing was not to entertain you all, but to get that out. All right. What do you say? There's a pond at the Blue World in Katsia. 9-pound bass. There you go. All right. Let's regroup here. Get back into a better spot and try that again. Hopefully without a nut in the line. All right. I hear a northern flicker. There's another bird. Came in so clutch. That's the ideal scenario. Yeah, I just used another hook and slowly pulled it out because it was so bunched up. It's 4-pound mono, so I'm frankly a little surprised I got it out. 4-pound mono is a tough one to deal with. But used the end of my other hook, kind of pulled it apart and got it. One of the things I've learned is that if you need someone to untie a knot or tie a knot really well, fishermen might be your best bet. So, I'm very good at untying and tying things. All right, let's turn around right here and get rolling. All right, there we go. Cast that way. All right, start paddling. And as we, any luck?
Any luck yet or what?
Just started. I'm gonna troll along the dam wall here. So.
What do you normally catch, like trout or bass?
A lot of smallmouth up along the wall here.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. All right, let out a little line, and sometimes you realize that you say things that probably weren't very helpful. That guy said to me, he said, "Any luck?" And to confirm that I understood what he was saying, I said, "Any luck?" as in repeating what he's saying with a question mark. And trying to see if that's what he actually said to me. And I realized that it just sounded like I was asking him if he had any luck, which would make obviously 0 sense. Got it tangled up in the treble hooks. All right, let's try that again. We're having a rough go at it. Right. What body of water is that? This is a private lake up at our lake house in the Pocono Mountains, where you're in Albrightsville. So, yeah, outdoorsmen in general are pretty good with knots. That is a true statement. Alright, so we will let out a little bit more line here in a moment. So we are trolling. We are actively trolling. But we're probably going to want to let out just a little bit more line here in a second. 20 miles per hour, as you'd say we're going. We're in 8.1 feet. We probably want it in just a little bit deeper water. Pull up my sleeves, or pull down my sleeves rather. There we go. Here's the firework crew setting up for tonight. Thinking about going night fishing, or should I go day fishing? Well, depends on what you want to catch, I guess, and what kind of vibe you're looking for. Night fishing is relaxing, typically, so how adventurous are you feeling? So we got a boat here. I'm thinking, making an executive decision that we're going to go out to the island, because we got some boats in the way of my trolling path. So we're going to troll out to the island. I doubt we'll catch anything out in the deep water on the way to the island. We're going to go that direction. We can troll around there, or we can drop the old bass baits in too. What are they doing on the dam? Fireworks set up. So my uncle, he spends a lot of time up here with us. Hello, how's your day going? Going great. We are at the lake house. We're having a great time out here on the yak with y'all. We are in 25.8 feet. Yep, we want that. We got some fish down low. On the way to Pebble. Awesome. Pick up your cat. Chased out of your spot by hornets. Oh, that's rough. Bug was very good for me, Matt. So, it's a very rubby cat you have. Loves to rub things. Yes, bug fetching. He tries. Lots of fish in the 20-foot range right now. We're in 29, well now we're in 30.1 feet. So, yeah, we are on the way to the island. As you guys can see out in front of us. There's the island, straight ahead. We're on the way out there. We're trolling along behind us. I don't expect to get anything on the trolling rig in this deep of water, but we'll see. I do, however, expect to be able to pull out a bass or two. After I got out, then I got stung by a bee. Good thing I'm not allergic, indeed. It is a good thing. Pretty good at tying the improved clinch knot, Palomar knot, Alberta knot for braid to leader, blood knot, monofluoro, and I've recently tied the double uni knot. Yeah, I'm pretty simple when it comes to my fishing knots. I do everything with some variety of clinch knot, Palomar knot, figure 8 loop knot, and a GT knot. It's basically all I do for fishing knots. So GT knot is any line-to-line connection, any of them. I use the GT knot. Loop knots are if I want to create a dropper loop, I want to create a removable weight section, anything like that. And then Palomar knot, if I need to, I'll use that with braid, straight braid, but otherwise I tie things on with clinch. So fish for trouser trout, not today, but I'm a big trout guy, so I like trout. Cooked a lot of trout this year. Cooked up 2 browns, a couple rainbows, 1 brook this year. So probably 10 rainbows, 2 browns, and a brook I've cooked. Bass. That is one of the things we're trying for today. I mean, it's possible we get a trout. It's just kind of unlikely. So they stock them in the spring, but it is summer, the water's warm. It's unlikely that they're out and about too much. So put my hood up, it'll shade me from the sun a little bit, help me see a little bit better too. Nancy Drew, how's it going? Enjoy your day. Well, thank you. Hello everyone, just popping in. Alright, so I'm gonna pull this in. Are you fishing? Yes, we are. We are coming up on a spot where I think we might be able to do some bass fishing. So I have this rig, the little mini trolling rig, which can catch nearly anything in this lake. And then I've got 2 little bass rigs. So we're gonna start chucking around one of them. We got some wind to contend with. Caught anything? Not yet today. We were fishing yesterday on live too at this lake. Caught some things from shore, nothing super exciting. But we're going for some slightly more exciting things today. And I've completely changed my plan. Came out here planning to do one thing, now we're not doing that, so. I am gonna switch to this rod. With the camera up there, the fish finder rig, the trolling rig, all that. What would you like to catch? Well, the thing I've got on right now is primarily a bass lure, so I guess right now my target is bass. I've caught other things on this setup. Big crappie I've caught before. I've hooked a trout on this with my uncle, actually. That video's out on the channel from this spot right here. So maybe we randomly catch a big trout, but probably bass. Where are you at? We are in Albrightsville, up in the Pocono Mountains, at our lake house. So got some stuff up on the bottom. 5 people in here currently, 14 likes. Thank you guys. So I'm gonna make a short about this at some point because I think it's a concept that not a lot of people like truly think about. But we've got wind blowing from this way to this way, so the wind's coming towards me, and I'm casting into the wind because if I'm on the kayak drifting around, that's gonna constantly keep the tension in my line. I'm not gonna have to fight it to be able to keep the slack out of my line. So it's a good thing to pay attention to which direction you're casting in relation to the wind. How big of a bass would you want to catch? I mean, I'd take any, but ideally a big one. Nice little 3+ pounder would be sweet. That's kind of my line for a nice bass. Because if it's over 3, that's a pretty nice one. Smallmouth, it's probably over. If it hits 2, it's probably a nice one for me. Have you seen alligators in my life? Yes. Here? No, we're in Pennsylvania, so no alligators. understandable. How are you all today?
Alright, how you guys doing?
Doing good.
Are you FaceTiming while you're driving?
No, I'm doing YouTube, so yeah.
That should almost be illegal.
Almost. Keeps them entertained. .6 feet here. I'm gonna head closer into the island. I haven't given the island any looks so far this trip, so we're gonna head out there and see what we can do.
You didn't get any stickers for? Oh, I see it. Yeah, you're on there. You're good. All right.
Yeah, I'm good. Swans can be dangerous, especially when they come over a spillway at you. That's rough, real rough. 9 people in here, 17 thumbs up. You got one, there you go. Good work. He's hooked up on one. I'm gonna go over here, hit the island. I haven't actually really fished the island at all this year. I came out here for a little bit last time we were here. Super short period of time, so. Where did you get your rod? I've got them a multitude of different places. The green one was from Dick's Sporting Goods. The yellow one I bought from Bass Pro. The reel that's on it was from Amazon. The other rod I have here, the rod was a birthday present, and the reel I got from the Philly Fishing Expo. So. Yeah, we're gonna go over here at the island. I've got some bites on this lure recently, and it seems as though they like to hit the tail, grab the tail and not grab the whole thing. So I might have to switch up eventually, because I don't totally want that to continue happening, but we're gonna give it a try as is to start once we get up here on the island. Flip you all around so you can see the island. There it is. So we are in 18.2 feet of water. Gonna get up till we're probably in about 12. Cast towards the island, let the wind drift us away from it, and kind of drag it out into deeper water as we go. So. .8 feet right here. A few months ago I got a monster catfish. That's awesome. I've caught some good catfish out of this lake, and we're gonna see if we can do it again, but they've been slowly diminishing in numbers. They only stocked a couple of them. When they did it, and they've slowly been diminishing because they have not stocked any more in a while. So we are gonna get up on the island here. Not actually on the island, but we're gonna get like close to it and cast towards it, let the wind kind of rip us around the corner, drag it along, and see if a bass wants to come out and play. 16.5 feet right here. Hope you catch something good. I didn't mean night. There you go. Alright, we're gonna cast it right up on the island. and let the wind pull us out a little bit. Oh, the wind is ripping, so we're going to be doing a fast drag. Oh, we had a nipper, like machine gun taps. Not a good solid hit. This is a good little spot. We're just getting pulled right around the corner here. Kind of staying in consistent depth, which is what I wanted. It's kind of pulling us around the island. It's kind of curving around. It is weird how different landmarks, different terrain features can kind of change the wind direction. I'm going to be doing some analysis of that here soon. I got my deer hunting spot for the fall locked down. I'm going to be hunting on my pastor's land. And I'm going to go over there and do some wind mapping to kind of see how the wind swirls in the terrain and see how that's going to impact where I set up the stand and all that. So, yeah. Yeah, so we're slowly being pushed this way. And that is allowing me to kind of just pop our bait up, let it sit, and then it'll pick up the slack for me as we drift away from it. I can feel if there's anything there and keep on drifting. Oh, I had something. What was going on there, Batman? Oh, what did I tell y'all? Took the tail. I said that, didn't I? Anyone who was here a couple minutes ago, I said they like to hit the tail. All right, what that means to me is the following. That means, well, do you fit on this hook? I do kind of want to stick with this profile bait, but I'm going to, the big curly tail one, I'm going to cut back on how much curly tail we've got. And kind of just go with a straight style worm. Something little, I don't know. They love to just bite at this, even big fish. I've experienced this before in this lake. They love to bite at the end of the bait. So I'm going to shorten it up so I can get more of the bait on the hook. Reduce the amount of curly tail we've got because they're kind of slapping at the curly section. Shorten that up and see if that gets us a fish. It might. It might just do the job. I'm gonna back up just a little bit. Turn that way. That's good. That's good. All right. Wind is slowed down just a bit, so we're drifting a little less. Oh, we're getting bit. Ten people in here, 20 thumbs up. Thank you all. Since we're not drifting, I guess I can cast the other direction too. Because now we're not fighting the wind. As soon as I say that, the wind will come back probably, but you know. Something big suspended at 12 feet. We're in 15 feet of water. 3 feet off the bottom. Something big's just sitting there. There's another red-winged blackbird. Mission skunked. So far today, not yesterday, but I mean, if I wanted to go and just catch a bluegill, I could pretty quickly, but I kind of want a bass or a crappie or a perch or something more interesting. We're going to go fish the brook trout stream at some point in time this trip as well. We're here for a whole week, so we'll fish the brook trout stream for sure. Oh. That's the thing with finesse fishing, is it works so well, but you can't like cover waters. You have to just go slow and wait for them to be there. Seven people in here, 20 thumbs up. Thank you guys for hanging out. Currently, we've got no fish on the board, but we are looking. We are getting a couple bites here, so. I'm thinking, hey, Woodsman, good to see you again. Ozark's Woodsman was hanging out with me last night. Talking some archery, some other random things, several random things. How's it going? No fish so far today. We've been out here for 48 minutes. I was planning on doing a good bit of trolling, but there's a bunch of boats that would have been in my way of trolling along the dam. So I kind of abandoned that, and now we're out here at the island. Took us a couple minutes to paddle out here. We've been here for like maybe 10 minutes, so we're gonna keep on moving around. There's fish here somewhere. I might switch to the other rod here too. Oh. Loosen up the back. No unicorns last night, Woodsman. No unicorns. But we got several more nights to try and catch a unicorn. AKA a catfish. He's back. Sweet. Go up around the corner here. Use the wind to our advantage once again. Plenty of time to catch one. Yes, the elusive Pocono catfish. This lake has them. They're just few and far between. I was talking about that right when we got near the island with y'all. It's remarkable. We're like this close to the island, and it's 13 feet. It is a swift drop off. We're moving pretty good around here. Don't you love people just yelling profanity completely across the lake? Like yelling to a boat 100 yards away, yelling profanity at one another. Isn't it great? Use big minnows to catch a muskie. There are no muskie in here. So, no muskie in this lake. What's going on here? Is there a phar? It's a phar. Gar? No gar. We're in Pennsylvania. So, it's something we do not have. Some people just don't understand common courtesy. Indeed. Six people in here, 23 thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, hitting the like button, all those things. I do lots of different outdoor activities. I'm always trying to learn, always experimenting. So if there's an outdoor activity you like, there's a good chance I've done it or would like to try it. I'm always experimenting, learning new things, and I just bring you guys along. So right now, I mean, every time you go out fishing, it's kind of a learning experiment. You got to figure out what they're doing that day. And I'm pretty confident that they're going to bite this lure. It's just I got to find them. Because with a finesse bait, you can get them to bite. You just can't cover water. So I just have to put it where there is one, and then they should bite. But that takes some time. I feel like they liked the curly tail a lot, and that curly tail action was really helping. It's just I'm getting way less bites now. It's just they grab the curly tail and won't actually get the hook in their mouth. So I'm thinking about switching back up to the curly tail and just shortening it up so the curly tail short. I don't know. This is kind of weird. I think they want the curly tail, just not as like they just grab the end. So we're gonna figure out how to bridge that gap and have a curly tail with a proper sized end, because this is what this looks like, right? That's long, and they're just gonna grab this end piece here, and that's what they've been doing, tearing me up right on the end. But if I go like this, let's line this up. If I just want the tail hanging off, the tail is still that doggone long. So if I hook it partway through the tail, what if I did that? Which would just be like this little nubbin right here. We're gonna do that, see what it does. One time I caught a hammerhead shark in saltwater. That's awesome. I've caught a sandbar shark. That's the only big type of shark. I've caught some dogfish, littler sharks. But big sharks, only sandbar. I'm looking for maybe a hammerhead or something like that this year in North Carolina. So. Alright, we're going to try that. I feel like that's going to have higher success rates, but I don't know. Thanks, Red Bill Princess. Good to see you. Fishing SP4 says you're back. I didn't know you left. You commented just a second ago, so I had no idea you were going. Yeah, this curly tail worm should have some really good action. I just gotta see if I can get a fish that'll actually commit to the bait. Get the whole thing instead of just getting the tail. I'm getting bites, but... What is the pond? This is a full-size lake, so up in the Pocono Mountains. Uh-oh, people blasting music again.
I've been out on the road lonely at night, and it's been a while.
Fish are in the pond. What is the pond? A fish in? I'm lost. Yeah, this is not a pond. This is a lake, and yes, there are fish in this lake. So, what is in the pond, not what is the pond. I can't read, my bad. It's hard. There's a glare out here. What fish are in the pond? Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm just having trouble reading with the glare. Bass, crappie, perch, bluegill, other types of sunfish, trout, the occasional trout, occasional catfish. No narwhals, no. 5 people in, 26 thumbs up. Thank you all. Oh, I just had one. Dang nabbit. It hit it while I was bouncing it. Dang nabbit. Let me see this thing. Oh my gosh. Pulled the whole darn worm down. It hit it while I was starting to reel it up. Okay, what are we doing? What is happening? Someone's trying to get me copyrighted. That's what's happening. I can't control this, everyone. Alright, they turned it down a little bit. Hold on. There we go, they turned it down. I'm not sure why people can't be courteous. Yeah, I don't know why people can't be courteous to other people in the water. That was ridiculously loud. Use real bait. I don't know what that means. Using all that energy. Oh, what energy? Bouncing my rod? That doesn't take much energy. I like it. It's engaging. Oh, I had one right there. Hold on. I had him. He's right there. It's kind of the same spot that last one was. Just cast it right in there. Good luck. Thanks. Some barn swallows up there. Lots of barn swallows flying around. Seven people in here, 26 thumbs up. We'll get one out here. We just gotta find the right spot. It just takes a little time. They're kind of all over the place. What up? Spur of the moment. How's it going? We just gotta find the right spot. I see some on the finder down here. But yeah, that, as I said, that's kind of what finesse fishing is all about. You can either do one of two things. You can go to a spot where you know they'll be and just fish around until the bait falls in front of the right fish, they see it, and they bite. Or you can kind of cover water with a moving bait, and if you get bit, follow up with a finesse bait. I know there's fish that will eat this bait here. I just gotta get it in front of one, which involves just kind of casting around until one sees it. Takes a little time. It's kind of inconsistent. You might catch 4 in a row and then not catch one for an hour, but they're biting the same. It's just hard to get it in front of them because you're not covering much water. So let's see if we can get to 50 likes before the end of this live. That'd be awesome. I don't usually set like goals, but let's see if we can do that. That'd be cool. Nine people in here, 26 thumbs up. We're out here on the kayak doing some fishing. Just scouting out the island out here, just seeing what's out by the island. Do you have to register canoes and kayaks in PA? Yeah, you can get a launch permit too. Up here, because it's a private lake, you don't need to register them, but you need to register it with the community. So they said, no, you don't have to register it with the state, but we'll take your money. So that's how it goes. I'm getting bit by a doggone fly down here. Get out of here. Where are you fishing? Up in the Poconos. Our lake house up in the Poconos. Our house is somewhere on that bank back behind me. Let's move a little bit and kind of scouted this area decently. Got a couple bites. But no real commits. Go down here. always. What are you fishing for? Primarily bass, but really anything. Yeah, the wind has really died down a little bit, which is pretty nice. I appreciate that. Seven people in here, 26 thumbs up. Thank you all. You gotta get one of these biters. Fish, by the way. What do you mean? I'm not sure I understand. Color lure you're using? Green. Typical. This lake is always clear. It never is muddy, so it's rare that you use anything that isn't green, black, brown, something like that for lures. Have I caught any? Caught a couple yesterday, nothing today. It was raining for most of the morning. I haven't fished other than being live today. My initial plan was to troll, but that got interrupted because there were some people up along the dam wall, which is where I wanted to troll. So I had to switch plans. So the first half of the live was really just me trying to figure stuff out. We've only been actually like fishing for 30 minutes or so. So a couple bites, no real commits just yet. Oh. Yep. We just got bit right here. I feel like they're tip-tapping the tail. They're definitely tip-tapping the tail. Looks a little cloudy. Might try something on the dark spectrum. Yeah, I mean, it's a green. It'll work. It's kind of a dark green with, or a green with a, can't speak, green with darker flakes in it. So, I'm getting bit. I just got bit right here. It just seems like they're not totally committing. Seems like they're tapping the tail and letting go. I'm not sure why they're doing that, but. I mean, a bigger fish will definitely take this. I feel like I'm getting a lot of small taps. I'm getting a lot of small taps. Most of the bass that I catch in here are small. You'll occasionally get a big one. So maybe this will weed out some of the small guys for me. And I'll get a big one, maybe. How long you been fishing? We've been out here for like an hour, but I've only actually been like fishing for maybe 30 minutes. So. Darn fly. Show me your lure. Well, when I reel it back in, I'll show it to you. Right now, it's casted out. Oh, that was a bite. Come on. Come on back. Met you on a dock in New Jersey 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I remember that. How's it going? What you been doing? Where are you at? I'm up at the lake house right now trying for some bass. We're getting some bites. They're not totally committing right now. That was a great fishing trip. I enjoyed that. An all-nighter out in Jersey. Been fishing much lately? Oh, I was totally going to show you that lure and I forgot. Next time. Someone remind me. What you been catching? Hopefully good stuff. fly is starting to annoy me. It keeps biting me. Ow! It's remarkable how much flies hurt when they bite you. They're these tiny little things. They don't even look like they'd have something to bite you with. And they hurt so bad. Bass and bluegill, awesome. Where are you talking about country? I don't know what that means. Here's my Texas rig curly tail. I feel like they're biting at that tail, but that tail's also the reason that it has enough action to kind of entice them. If I took the tail off, then they stop biting. So the day after we met, you caught. Cool. Yeah, was it? I think you caught a flounder that day. I caught a flounder that day. I caught one the next morning that was half-inch shy of keeper size. Where are you country-wise? Okay, that makes sense. I am in the United States, in Pennsylvania, which is kind of in the northeast section of the country. Yeah, I caught one the next day that was 17 and a half, which actually was a little over half. It was like 17 and 5/8, which really annoyed me because I wanted to keep one, but Ireland. I might try the other bait, something a little bit smaller. It's a much different profile, but we'll see what that does. I've been really itching to fish with this bait a little bit out here by the island. For some reason, I don't think I had it when I was out here last year, but this is a Mega Bass Dark Sleeper. It's got some pre-built-in weight to it. Acts like a jig. Ever caught a pike? No, I have not. I caught a pickerel, which is like a mini pike, but no pike. It's like a swim bait hybrid with a jig, and they work real well. You can swim them, you can bounce them off the bottom, you can drag them, and the tail will flutter and kick. I think this will be a good bait to try out here, so we're gonna do that. Give it a try. Close, yeah. There's very few pike in the state of Pennsylvania, so it'd be a tough one to catch because there's really none of them here. I know there's some in like Ohio. Have I ever caught a gar? No, I have not, but we're going back down to North Carolina in a couple weeks, and that is one of my primary targets. There's a little brackish water lagoon that has a lot of them, and I just haven't been prepared to actually go out and try and catch them in the past. I've gave it a shot, but I haven't been prepared. This time I'm going prepared. Lots in Ireland? Yeah, I've heard there's lots of pike over there. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate that. 10 people in here, 32 thumbs up. We're going to see if we can hit 50 likes today. That'd be awesome. Like a chatterbait? Yeah, not quite like a chatterbait. It's kind of like a, I don't know, it's more like a paddle tail swim bait that you can also drag on the bottom. That's basically what it is. Let's try trolling the mini rattle trap around the island. See what that does for us. Might do something. At least it will motivate me to move to the other side of the island because I want to try over there. Loch Dirge. Okay. Doesn't mean a ton to me because I'm not familiar with the lakes of Ireland, but it's good to know, I guess. Alright. Let's troll the BFS. Well, we'll get back to trolling. We'll troll around the island. That'll work for us. We want you facing like that, which might not happen. Whoa. What do you think your max draw weight would be with a trad bow? I don't know, because I also hold my draw. I know you kind of hit your draw and then let go. I hold my draw, so I'd say it's probably somewhere around 65 or 70 to do comfortably. Like to where I could do it without doing some sort of superhuman strength activity. Because I can draw 70 pounds on my compound like super easily, and I'm sure I could hold that if I needed to. I'd say probably around 65. I can draw like 90, like actually getting it back I can do like 90, but having to hold it, it's a whole different story. So I'd say probably somewhere around 65, 70. But I'm a young lad. I imagine in my future years that will diminish. Lots of weightlifting for me too, so. Well, actually, yeah, let's think about this from a weight background. Yeah, probably 65. Because if I can, like if you told me I had to do a dumbbell row and I had to hold it at the top for 10 seconds and I had to do like 20 reps with that, what's the max weight to where I can hold it at the top like that after each rep? I'd say it's probably around the 75, 80 pound mark where I could hold it at the top like that after every rep. And I would decrease it a little bit for being a bow. So, yeah. Have you ever caught a muskie? I have not. Not yet. That's what's on my list. Side of the shallow section. I figured I'd check. I have a 65-pound, 28-inch longbow. I can't draw it back anymore. So, yeah, that's probably about where I'm comfortable. I could probably do more, but I don't think it would be like pretty, and I don't think I could shoot it for long periods of time. If I wanted to like go out and do a shooting session with it, I probably wouldn't want to use more than 65-ish for extended periods of time. Park of Nature says hi. Hello. A 65-pound longbow might obliterate a frog or a squirrel. It'd be like no longer with us. Wasn't a problem when I was in my 20s and 30s. A big no-go now. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. I'd say it's probably somewhere, like, to do it comfortably, to do it properly. That's probably about where I should stop. There's no point in having an ego. Could I do more? I'm sure I could. I can draw like 190 or 100 pounds, but that doesn't mean I should. Oh yeah, there we go. Put that right there. 68 inches long. That's a long one. I mean, it is called a long bow, so, you know, what do you expect? Yeah, I don't think I've drawn a trad bow over like 55-ish, but 55-ish isn't a problem at all, so. It's never the draw, it's the fact that you have to hold it, and given the fact that there's no let off, that's what's hard. So. Alright, we're on the other side of the island now. Oh, I saw a fish jump out there. We got weeds again. Where'd you get that, have you had that longbow for a long time, I imagine, or? Six people in here, 34 thumbs up, thank you guys. Cast this back out, that direction. There's that. 22 years. Damon Howard Custom. Cool. That's awesome. The bow's older than me. Granted, the recurve I shoot is older than me, so by a lot more than that. That one's from 1969, I think. But right after I bought your Black Widow. Huh. You had those two a while, haven't you? Not sure what's going on with the fish right now. I've seen two people catch fish. Both facing the fish. While I've been out here. Neither of them was me. It's unfortunate and atypical. This is a little bit bigger worm than I typically use. I bet you that probably has some sort of impact. Maybe that means we'll get a bigger one if we get one. That'd be cool. Yeah, wind picked up. Let's see if we can do that. There we go. I'll tell you what. We're gonna go around the island with this again. This is really weird. We're gonna get one. We definitely gotta try and get one here. Really unfortunate that we're not catching much right now. But I have a plan. We're gonna hit the backside of this island, assess what's going on over there. And then, depending on what happens, we're gonna make a run to the weedy section along the other side, hit that, and then we control back to the house along the rocky wall, or the rocky like, I guess you'd just call it a bank, the rocky bank near our house, and we'll troll there. So we got a 3-part plan. Let's see what we can do here. Gray catbird, picking out birds sitting on the island here. Flip you all around, running right by the island. There we go. I hear a song sparrow. If we can, I'll let the wind wedge me up against the island and then we can cast from a stationary position. I gotta pick a good spot though, because there's so many trees. I don't want to just be completely engulfed in a tree. It's not really what I want. Sorry, y'all, not sure what happened. YouTube kicked me out for a moment. Wedge myself up right here. Yeah, I'll let the wind wedge me up right here. We'll cast around. We're sitting over top of an old beaver dam. Oh, that's perfect. Oh. There's a bass right here or something that just picked it up. They're just biting and letting go. It's right here though. There's bass or something. Something decent size, big enough to pick this up and move it. Come on, fish. Cast this way. Water always finds level. Earth is definitely flat. Not how that works. Water doesn't always find level. Look at the ocean. If you look out at the horizon, you notice you can't see all the way across it. But the higher up you go, the further out you can see because it actually rounds. You're probably just playing with me, but I love playing with you. Oh my gosh. That is totally not how that works. Stop trying to sound smart. Well, that is how that works. I'm not trying to sound smart, I'm just telling the truth. Oh man. If you're trying to entertain me, you are doing that. That's a song sparrow. Watch a boat go over the horizon, take out a telescope, bring it back into sight, therefore line of sight is still maintained, it did not go over a curve. That is true if the limiting factor is visibility in the air. Well, actually it's not, because the telescope doesn't give you better visibility in the air, it just means that you can no longer see it. There is a certain point in time, I believe, at flat level ground it's like 5 miles or something like that, to where you actually can no longer see it, but if you raise yourself up, you'll be able to see it again. Check it out at the beach. If you ever go to the beach at a spot where there's boats out on the water, like big boats, cargo boats, that sort of stuff, fishing boats, they have to be far enough out, but I believe it's about 5 miles that you can no longer see due to the curvature of the earth if you're flat and level, but the higher up you go, the more you can see because you're seeing over the curve. Very interesting. Very interesting. Just keep in mind we are a family-friendly channel. You're not saying anything. You're saying interesting things, very strange things, but keep in mind we're a family-friendly channel, so maintain proper etiquette, everyone. Do I believe in the Bible? Absolutely. That is the core central thing of my life. It's what I live by, and I will defend that with my life. The Bible actually says, be prepared and ready to give an answer in defense of your faith. So anything you want to throw at me, I'm here for it. May not always have the perfect answer, but I'm always willing. Oh, I got a bite again. I'm gonna go set up on a different spot. We're going to give it a couple more minutes here, and then we are going to go hit the weed line over there. So, the Bible describes a flat, motionless earth under a firmament that is separating the water from the waters, and really don't know where you would get a spinning globe solar system from the Bible. Read the creation accounts. It actually uses the word circle in there. Genesis 1, primarily. It has a lot of stuff about that. There's a little cool little pamphlet. There are over 200 verses in the Bible that describe the flat earth. No, there's not. I've read almost all of it. Don't think I believe that we're a pancake float in space. You can't put flat earth in the globe, earth, solar system. We've taken pictures of it from space. flat earth proves God creation. You cannot believe in science and the Bible. You actually have to pick a side. You can believe in science and the Bible. You just have to be able to differentiate what's actually being said. Science doesn't give answers for origins or all these things. Science, the actual technical definition of what science is it describes, or it says, it doesn't, or describes what the natural phenomenons in the universe are. It doesn't actually, it doesn't explain them, it describes them. That's actually what science means. So, you absolutely can. I think they actually support one another in many, many ways, which is really cool in my mind. Circle as in his footstool, but not a spherical object. Come on, man, you're smarter than that. I don't believe you're reading that correctly. I think you should read it again. There's a really, I think I was saying this and then I got interrupted, but there's a really cool pamphlet I have from a guy called Ray Comfort, who, he's before my time, but he's regarded as someone who knows some things. He's had a missionary, or not a missionary, a ministry, that's the word I'm looking for, ministry presence for a while. There's a pamphlet that I got that was cool. I read through it a while back, and it was a bunch of stuff that the Bible stated before science discovered them. One of them was the roundness of the earth, but there's a whole bunch of other ones that are really, really cool. Just cool to see how it was said long before it was actually discovered. Well, first of all, I don't think so. I generally am not in line with the traditional view of macroevolution. It's not something I go along with. I think there's elements of truth in it. There's elements of truth in almost everything. The Big Bang, I believe there's a lot of scientific evidence for it, and I think that makes sense because if you actually read the Hebrew in the Bible, when the Bible says God said, "Let there be light," and there was, the actual Hebrew word for that more so indicates that it wasn't that it was more energy than it was light, in the sense of the visible light, but it was more energy, the full broad spectrum of light. You know, there's UV, there's infrared, there's gamma rays, there's X-rays. Those are all technically forms of light, and that's more energy than it is visible light, and that came from a point of singularity. That's all fine and dandy. You just have to ask, where did that come from? That's one of the thoughts that I have. So, most of the time that I've flown in an airplane, which hasn't been a lot, you can't really see much other than clouds. But no, I mean, you can absolutely see curvature. It's not hard to examine. It's not hard to get there. If you stand high enough up on a mountain and look in the correct direction, where you have a view of something that's unobstructed, you're not looking at another mountain ridge or whatever, you can see how that works. It kind of tapers off over here. You can't see curvature, but you can see how it tapers off out in front of you. And the higher up you get, the more you can see out in front of you and to the sides, because you're seeing over the curvature. Bible says Earth is set on pillars and the movable, but you were telling me you're on a spinning ball hurling at thousands of miles per hour. Ever expanding universe. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I think you need to understand the difference between narrative, between poetic expression, between literal stuff. I take almost everything in the Bible as literal, but when it says it's set on pillars, there are also things that you have to understand that sometimes it's not talking about physical things, and a lot of that is expressed in in the way the narrative is written, you have to understand who is writing it, who they're writing it for. I would never expect somebody to read the Genesis accounts where it's just a pure narrative, the same way they would read the doctrinal statements in something like the epistles written by Paul, or the non-Pauline epistles written by people like Peter and James, John. I wouldn't expect them to read that the same. You have to understand how to read that and what's going on. Difference between a physical pillar and a literal pillar. Well, I'll give you this. If we're talking about physical structures, you have how this works and what it's actually saying. When in Psalm, I believe it's 120, it states that the stone that the builders rejected will become the cornerstone, and then that is later attributed in several different places. It's mentioned again in Isaiah, it's in 1 Peter, when it's referred to, and people attribute that to Jesus. And Peter, in 1 Peter, actually says that Jesus was the stone that the builders rejected, and then later became the cornerstone. Do you actually think that Jesus is then a cornerstone? Like, we're just using a one-to-one example, apples-to-apples example of saying that, referring to something that people build upon. I think what they're saying is that there is a firm foundation for things, and that there is a cornerstone is the most important stone when setting up a building. Pillars are the foundation of a building. I think it's more referring to foundation than physical orientation. Well, yeah, absolutely, but you have to understand the context. The context is very important. I believe the Bible is literal, and I believe if you're trying to explain away something by saying it's not literal, that's a different thing than saying I actually believe the proper meaning of this is that. It is whatever it is in a metaphorical meaning. When it says that we are, it talks about, I forget exactly where this is. I think it's in Ephesians. When it refers to us, his people, as living stones, that doesn't mean we are living stones. That's not what that means. That is not the intention of that terminology. That, oh, well, we're just rocks that are alive. That's not what that means. So, good to talk to you. I appreciate it. Hopefully you're able to figure out what you're looking at, and hopefully you're able to start reading things in a context that more aligns with what the message is supposed to say. I appreciate talking to you. If you ever would like to talk again, let me know. I'm here for you. Contradicted. You need to do a little bit more research on this topic. I've done many years and convinced the earth is flat. No, I definitely didn't say anything that's contradictory. Most certainly did not do that. I take a lot of care to make sure that I speak in a manner that is understandable and is logical. Doesn't have any fallacies of that sort. You're allowed to believe what you want to believe, and I don't think that this issue actually has anything to do with your ultimate destiny. Like, I don't think it's really that important. I think that there's underlying factors here that do mean a lot, but I think you have to understand that this isn't really that important. If you want to make it that big of a deal, then that's your own right, but it's not that big of a deal to me. For anyone just coming in, we are out here working on catching a fish. The fish have certainly slowed down, it seems. Not getting many bites, but we are going to switch up tactics here in a moment unless we happen to get ourselves a fish shortly. So, I think all the barn swallows that I've been seeing up here recently, I think they nest out on the island, which is kind of cool. I keep seeing them fly to the island and land. When they're out in front of our lake house, like on the beach, they don't ever land. And I think that's because they all actually nest out here on the island. Three people in here currently. I just had a very interesting discussion with one viewer that I'm sure lost some folks' attention. Sorry about that, but he asked a question that I was willing to answer. It's always something I'm willing to talk about, so. Island has more bugs. Possibly true. But they're eating bugs out in front of our beach. I see them eating the bugs. What I'm saying is I never see them actually land. They're always just flying around. I've seen lots of them actually land on the island, and I'm wondering why that is. Because the swallows, they eat bugs out of the air primarily, so them landing actually probably indicates that they're not eating. So, I don't know. The swallows are cool. They're one of my favorite birds up here. The ruby-throated, red-throated, ruby-throated, I forget which one it is, hummingbirds. The hummingbirds are awesome. This is pretty much one of the only places I consistently see hummingbirds. We got lots of mallards. The ducks are always cool. Mud nests, the proper nesting area on the island. Yeah, I think there would be. I didn't know they made mud nests. That's cool to know. Did you look that up, or are you like a bird guy, Woodsman? I didn't know that about you if you're a bird guy. But yeah, I think that's probably why they're out here. So. Ozarks Woodsman, were you there listening to our interesting conversation we were having? Sometimes you don't know how to deal with people and you just try and treat them with respect and answer their questions. Grew up with them on the farm. Bird guy. Thought you knew. I have a parrot. I think I did know that, but I didn't know you were observation style bird guy. Like, I didn't know you were into observing them. I'm only recently got into it, so I'm not like super into it. I think it's just something that I can do. Like while I'm out here not catching many fish, it's interesting to observe the swallows flying around and understand what's going on here and think about that, entertain myself in different ways. It'd be a good thing to do to your stand. I don't think I'm ever going to go out like, oh, I'm going birding. That's probably not me. I think I do recall that you had a parrot. I just didn't, I don't know, I didn't know you were like, I've got the facts in my head. That's cool, though. I appreciate people like that. Hard for me to bite my tongue. I had the sword lifted high, ready to throw. Yeah. And as always, I know I'm not infallible and I may have said something incorrect, but generally, I think there's a lot of wisdom in just saying what you know, being respectful, and letting people who have an opinion that I think is, I mean, yet again, I don't know everything, and there's a lot of stuff we don't know. And I could be completely wrong, we could all be completely wrong. However, I think there's a lot of stuff to say that's probably not how that works, and that's kind of a very sparsely supported view to hold. But I think there's a lot of wisdom and kindness and just having a respectful discussion about it without, yelling in their face that you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about. So, I tried my best to do that. Gen X brain doesn't understand extra tolerance. Yeah, I mean, that's fair, but the Bible calls us to do that sort of thing, which is hard, but that's what it calls us to do, so we try our best. Looks like there's a storm coming in. I don't understand how, with all the stuff we know nowadays, there are people that believe certain things like that. Like, I know some people would look at some of the things I believe and say, I don't understand how you do that. But to me, I examine the evidence, and there seems to be as much or more on each side or whatever. It seems pretty even, so you just have to kind of pick what you think makes the most sense. But stuff like that, I don't think there really is any evidence, so I don't understand how people come to hold those views. He kept it real without being too rude. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a terrible discussion. It wasn't what I anticipated discussing while here on the kayak, but it wasn't a bad discussion. I'm totally okay with having interesting discussions that we disagree upon in any facet, as long as people keep it respectful. I generally would prefer to never discuss politics, just because politics is an extension of your beliefs. It is not what your beliefs are. I will discuss my beliefs, my own personal beliefs, and I will discuss anything that we agree or disagree upon when it comes to how I conduct my outdoor activities. But politics is an extension of your core beliefs, so I don't even think it's worth discussing. Just discuss the beliefs that give you self there. You never understand that, because God gave us your ability to think on your own. That is very true. Very true. That is very true. I agree with you, Woodsman. Oh, I know what that one is. What is that? I heard it. I don't remember what it is. Woodsman, you ever played with the Merlin app? Merlin Bird app? Here's the calls and tells you what's there. It's phenomenal. I'm going to make a video on it at some point. It's not a lot of people know about it. It's always cool to make videos on it and their own personal experience and that sort of thing. I've been loving using that thing. It tells me what all the calls are. I can log my sightings. How many species of birds have I seen so far? 41, I think I've got on there. Not a ton, but I've been logging them as I go, as I learn. I have to actually visually confirm them, at least in my book, to log them on there. So I've got 41 species of birds that I've visually confirmed. Went back, added a bunch from old videos in there, that I've seen in old videos or I've taken pictures of in my adventures in the past. 41 types of birds. Slowly but surely learning. That's a cool one. I love the Merlin app. And the fish really are not having it right now. They're not having it. I cast it up way over on the island. Let's see what we can do. Phone percentage at, okay. Good. People in here, 37 thumbs up. The goal is to get to 50 by the end of the live. We need 13 more. If everybody you're enjoying the fishing, the discussion. I would appreciate that. Learn the mimicking birds first so you don't get tricked by sound. We have at least 3 species in Missouri. The blue jay is a good trickster, and the brown cowbird is a master. Yeah, I've seen some of that. The Merlin thing is really good. It graphs the pitch, the time interval, the fluctuations, the volume. It graphs those, and it tells you with like very good accuracy what's going on. Jeff Schaefer, that's my dad, says the storm is coming. Alright, well, here's what we're going to do. In that case. Let's chuck this out here. Roll this along. Rip right back to the house. Raining here at Wallenpaupack. Alright, well, that's not far away, so let's get going back to the house. That's my godfather. Dom, I don't know if I told you yet, but I have a master plan on how to turn our, I don't want to give it away because I haven't released that video. I'm going to edit it and try and get it out concurrent with when we're in the Outer Banks again. But I have a plan to turn our fun endeavor from last year that we used to catch 3 large fish that weren't sharks. I have a plan to turn those fish into sharks. Time to get off the water. Let's go. Indeed. I'm going to rip right back to the house. I'm going to be trolling. Good looking out for him, y'all. Indeed. But I'm going to let some wine out here. I'll close the nail. And I'm going to rip right back. Maybe we catch a fish while trolling on the way back. You never know. Yeah, we can paddle good and swiftly. There's a red-winged blackbird, so I've seen barn swallows, red-winged blackbirds out here at the island. Wheelie MTB says Nolan. Yes, that's me. How's it going? What's good? Well, currently, let's flip it around. Look, this is the sky behind me. That's the sky in front of me. So currently we got a storm coming. I'm out in the middle of the lake on the kayak, so we're ripping back to the house. Trying to avoid getting stormed on. So, looks a little bit different in front and behind me. More coming. I saw it, I just didn't know how far off it was. I kind of thought we were free and clear for rain. I thought that the rain was done, but it seems as though that's not the case. Graham, there you go. Cool. I'm trying to look over my windsock here. It's covering up the comments, so anytime something pops up, I gotta look over. We're rolling back to the house. Yeah, I imagined you were. Makes sense. Did Dom tell you what was going on? I saw Dom just popped in. I guess I can take this off. It's cloudy now. There's no sun. I'm going at a clip of 3.5 miles per hour. Rolling back in. We got a whole lot of nothing out there. We were getting bites the whole time, but those people were still sitting by the dam wall. So my whole plan was to troll the dam wall. I thought that would be our best chance of catching fish, and I couldn't do it because those people were in my way up on the dam wall. Which, I mean, they have every right to be there. It's not a problem. We went out the island and caught a whole lot of nothing. Just got bit. They were taking our tail on our bait. So, you near Horn Island? Given that I've never heard of that, I would imagine no. So, we are in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania. I don't know where Horn Island is, so. Doing on the lake right now besides kayaking? Well, we were fishing. But now we're trying to hustle back to the house so we don't get poured on. Yeah, we were fishing, getting a couple bites, but my primary plan, the thing that I thought gave us the best chance of getting on some good fish, kind of got turns down. I was going to troll along the dam wall, and there were like 4 boats docked right up where I was going to troll through, so that wasn't going to work real well. I caught nothing so far, which is unfortunate and unusual, actually. Very unusual that I don't catch anything out there. But I really did want to hit the dam wall, and I didn't get a good chance to, so I'll blame it on that. I had a master plan. It totally would have worked, but it got foiled. Alright, we're almost back to the house. Just got back from fishing. Did you get any? We'll catch some later today, assuming the wind or the rain doesn't continue for the rest of the day. I will catch stuff. It just depends on whether it's on the kayak or not, and whether it's big or not. 2 sunfish. There you go. I caught some sunfish yesterday, and a couple perch. I was going for some bigger bass today, targeting on the larger spectrum of bass. We didn't want no little ones. Targeting some bigger bass, and I got a couple bites, but no successes. Alright, we're rolling back into the house. I'll flip the camera around so you guys can see where we're heading. There's our house. Bunch of grackles up in the sky. I don't know if you guys can see it up over the trees there, but 2 grackles just landed in that tree right ahead. And then there's some barn swallows up in there, up in front of us. Depending on what the rain situation looks like. I'll check the weather when we get here, but I might pop up live again and go to the brookie stream. We will catch fish there. That's nearly a guarantee. But yeah, stay tuned. I might pop up live for brookies. Like I don't want to say 100%, but like I'd put a fairly substantial sum of money that if we give it an hour and a half at the brookie stream, we'll get at least one. Alright, here's the dock. Alright. We've got this to reel in that we were trolling behind us. Oh, come on. What lake are you at? We're at our lake house, which is a private lake in Albrightsville. Given that it's a private lake, I don't generally tell people where I am. Just because there's no need. People can't come here anyway, unless they rent a house in the area. So, what bait are you using? I'll show you once I get it pulled in. On this rod, we were using. Felt a couple raindrops, I think. On this rod, we were using this. We had a worm, not a real worm, a bass worm on the other spinning rod, and we had a micro crankbait on the BFS, which we were planning on trolling the wall with, but that didn't happen because of other people. Alright, let's see if we can get it out. Yeah, it's a good lure. I've caught some good fish on that lure in the past. Uh-oh, here come the waves. Let's see if we can get out without destroying everything. All right, there we go. What's the biggest fish I've caught? I caught a stingray that was over 100 pounds. Caught a shark that was 90. Some other stingrays that were 80 pounds. That was with Dom, or Dom was a part of that. Yeah, you can ask him about that. He built me a drone, or he built parts for a drone to help me out with that. After that, 30-pound catfish, 23-pound catfish, 23-pound grass carp, and then after that it gets messy because I've caught a bunch of stuff in the between 10 and 15 pounds, so yeah. But those are the ones I can remember off the top of my head. Yeah, 100 and some pound ray, 90-pound shark, 80-pound ray, 60-pound ray, 30-pound catfish, 23-pound carp, 23-pound catfish. After that, I don't know. Oh, we are on the dock. I'm probably gonna call the live here. Unfortunately, we didn't get anything, but if the weather is applicable, I will go back out at some point in time, and I'm gonna go hit the brookie stream, and we certainly will be able to catch some fish there. So yeah, we're gonna rock and roll with that. If I pop back up, you guys are more than welcome to join me again. But for now, I gotta get this kayak unpacked before the rain comes down. See y'all later.